Welcome back to another week of Sparking Zero Custom Battles, a series dedicated to showcasing creator-made stories built within the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero community in hopes to keep this game mode alive and thriving. Now, ever since Broly was reintroduced and reintegrated into the modern Dragon Ball continuity, fans have been vocal about wanting that same treatment applied to other movie villains. Characters who were once confined to a single film now feel like they're waiting for a second life, updated, contextualized, and given space to exist alongside the main timeline. Today's selection leans directly into that idea. Turles the Space Pirate is reimagined through a challenging and surprisingly layered what-if scenario. Alongside it are two other matches built with just as much care. I have been getting some of the best custom battle stories recommended in the comments section. It's surprising to see how many of them are just hidden out there. Game's UI doesn't do the greatest job of showcasing the ones that have a lot of depth to them, so it's up to the community to showcase them, right? But for now, let's stop yapping and jump right into the very first story of today. We open with Goku returning to Earth, only to find the planet already slipping into chaos. The atmosphere feels wrong, the land itself shows signs of decay. A hostile Ki lingers nearby, and as Goku approaches its source, he's suddenly attacked by Piccolo. Bruised, disoriented, and acting on instinct after mistaking Goku for the one responsible for Gohan's injuries. The moment Piccolo recognizes Goku's voice, his posture softens, as relief starts to set in. Together they arrive at the battlefield. The Dragon team lies unconscious across the ground, and standing among them is a surviving Saiyan warrior surrounded by his crew. Goku struggles to place how someone like this could exist, let alone command this level of power. The fight unfolds across multiple phases, each structured around Turles repeatedly restoring his health through the fruit of the Tree of Might. Every time he consumes another fruit, the cast reacts, reinforcing how unnatural this escalation feels. Now Turles is stacked with capsules, and for much of this section, Goku's attacks barely leave a mark. After what feels like a long, lengthy series of punches, another surge in power pushes Goku into using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Turles takes notice of this increase of power and impressed extends his offer to join the Crusher Corps. The two of them can conquer every single universe. Goku turns it down without hesitation though. That refusal only deepens Turles' anger. As the fight drags on, exhaustion finally catches up. Goku's forced out of Kaioken, his stamina is finally depleted. Another fruit pushes Turles even further, leaving even Vegeta stunned by how far this power has climbed. What follows is a survival phase. Turles hits brutally hard, enough to destroy your health bar in a couple combos, while Goku's completely worn down and struggles to keep up. After what feels like another eternity, a clean opening appears and Turles slams Goku into the ground, burying him into a crater as he moves in to finish the fight.
Victory is mine.
In usual Goku fashion, in the last few seconds before his demise, a sudden burst of light flashes on the battlefield with Goku rising out of it. He clears the remaining space pirates from the field and turns his attention back to Turles, now with Ultra Instinct. The final stretch begins. Goku dominates this exchange, forcing Turles into desperation. In an attempt to close the gap, Turles consumes yet another fruit, only for the rapid surge of power to overwhelm him. His body fails to keep pace with what he's taken in. That moment creates the opening that Goku needs. With Turles defeated but alive, Goku turns away, offering a final word instead of destroying him. He tells him to abandon the fruit, return to the real training, and rebuild his strength properly. If he does, Goku promises they'll meet again. Turles is left behind on the battlefield, conscious and questioning the path he chose in life as the others all depart with Goku. I really love this approach. Goku offering his opponent a chance to grow without shortcut feels completely in character, especially given that Turles never crosses a line into outright slaughter on his friends. That restraint gives the ending space to breathe and add on top of. Now, a few added scenes could have strengthened this setup. More context around Turles' arrival on Earth, how he tracked down Goku and Vegeta, or what became of the Tree of Might. Even without those answers, this experience holds together remarkably well. Now, the use of key sickness mechanics and the escalating table logic makes this one stand out. It's a strong reinterpretation that treats Turles as more than a relic of a single film, giving him a place within a larger evolving world. Now this next story takes us back to the day Frieza and King Cole arrive on Earth, but the situation here has already spiraled far beyond what we're used to seeing. Frieza has refined his mechanical body through training and put it to use immediately. The warriors meant to stop him lie defeated. Trunks, even as a Super Saiyan, never stood a chance. With no one left to challenge him, Frieza waits patiently for the Super Saiyan he actually wants to face, Son Goku. Watching from a distance, Dr. Gero leaves his hideout to observe the chaos firsthand. Frieza's presence represents an opportunity, a possible alliance, one that could finally eliminate Goku for good. Zoro approaches with that intention, but Frieza has no interest in sharing that credit. Goku's death belongs to him alone. That dismissal turns violent. Zoro attacks only to be overwhelmed almost instantly by Frieza's upgraded body. Wounded and desperate, Zoro activates his contingency plan. Androids 17 and 18, but control slips through his fingers almost instantly. The androids, refusing to be shut down again, turn on their creator and end him without hesitation. With no one left in their way, their attention shifts naturally to Frieza. The galactic tyrant standing alone presents the perfect opportunity to test their strength and cure them of their boredom. Now this is where the difficulty begins to rise. Frieza can damage them enough to matter, but the constant swapping between 17 and 18 steadily overwhelms him. The fight becomes suffocating. Frieza starts to realize how narrow his chances have become. Cornered and nearing defeat, a thought crosses his mind. If Goku were here, things could have changed. The battlefield answers that thought violently. Goku arrives to find the broken bodies of his friends scattered across the ground. Rage takes over immediately. He launches himself at Frieza without hesitation. Now jumping to the sidelines, 17 and 18 step back, content with watching them destroy each other. Frieza is shaken but quick to adapt, pleads for a temporary alliance. Goku brushes him off at first, but Frieza presses the point. If the androids win, Earth is finished. Goku doesn't need to trust him, only acknowledge the threat in front of them. When asked if this was some sort of scheme, Frieza's motivation becomes clear. He just wants to test his new power against Goku properly, but they can't do that with the androids sitting in front of them. Goku agrees and the two turn to face the androids. The match resumes with a new pairing. Goku takes on Android 18 while Frieza engages 17. Neither Goku or Frieza has access to their full kits, pushing most of the combat into close range exchanges. Goku's presence is immediately felt though. Frieza up until this point in his android matches felt almost on par, at least slightly on the level of the androids, while Goku's just washing their health away, eventually putting Android 18 down. The focus shifts back to Frieza and 17. The two fight near even footing, with Frieza barely pulling ahead. A clever touch here comes through mid-battle dialogue. Taking too much damage as either Goku or Frieza will have your partner call it out, questioning your performance. As Android 17 is pushed to the side, a death ball ends the fight, destroying both androids, leaving only two figures standing in the battlefield.
Let's end this once and for all!
Goku and Frieza turn towards each other, ready to prove who is the strongest in the universe after all. This whole scenario feels pulled straight out of those old what-if stories, something similar to the Supersonic Warriors back in the day. It's like a strange self-contained space without needing to justify every detail. Now timeline interference has always warped outcomes in very unpredictable ways, and this story leans into that uncertainty. The androids feel much weaker than they should have, and despite Frieza's training, he's nowhere near the level he should have been like he was in Resurrection F. Instead, Frieza feels very desperate and Goku feels exactly where he should be. It's a contained idea, confident where it starts and comfortable with where it ends. I walked away curious with what goes on next, but satisfied, because sometimes the strength of a what if comes from knowing when to stop. This next what if stretches across multiple points in the timeline, using the custom battle system to construct what feels like a full arc within the Super era. The amount of care and display is immediately apparent, especially in how the spotlight moves beyond the usual leads. Even characters you wouldn't expect to anchor major moments are given room to develop. The creator has also documented every chapter of this story on their YouTube channel, which I'll make sure to link below. We begin with Goku deep in image training, reflecting on his growth by reliving encounters with the strongest opponent he's faced across his life. Frieza, Cell, Buu, Jiren, and Broly. Each of them represents a moment where the ceiling rose again and again, where the road forward demanded growth. This is presented as a 1 vs 5 gauntlet, pushing Goku through a sequence of battles, all culminating with an ending that mimics the opening of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Gohan arrives to find his father lost in thought. Goku, energized by the training, asks Gohan to spar, and the sky fades as the moment settles on this first point. We swap over to the next part of the story. The rest of the Dragon Team feels the ripple of the Tournament of Power and an unspoken pressure to move forward. Yamcha and Tien meet again in the same arena where they once fought as teams. The match unfolds across two phases, allowing Yamcha to rediscover his rhythm while acknowledging the gap that still exists between him and Ten Shenhan. Eventually, Tien emerges as the stronger fighter, but Yamcha leaves with the resolve, committed to continuing his path to power. From there, the focus moves to Gohan and his family. Training has become something he weaves into his everyday life now. Pan, a little older, watches in awe as Gohan attempts to follow the same training regime Goku once endured under Whis. Progress comes slowly. Beerus, annoyed of this, steps in, unimpressed as usual, pushing Gohan to treat the moment with the seriousness it demands. The gap becomes clear. Beerus overwhelms him and calls out the restraint that Gohan doesn't realize he's holding on to. But surrounded by his family, Pan, Videl, and his friend Dende, Gohan is reminded of what his strength protects, not just what it proves. That realization sparks something deeper. Power surges back into the fight and Gohan re-enters the battle with clarity and focus, thinking back on the days when he was a young boy fighting against Cell, finally giving Beerus a match that holds his attention. Now during the clash, the fists lock together and in a suspended moment, Gohan taps into God Ki. The battle shifts into its final phase from there. No matter how hard the player pushes though, the outcome is fixed. Beerus overwhelms him, but not with disappointment. He's amused, even impressed, recognizing the growth Gohan's achieved in such a short span of time. At Beerus' command, Dende steps in to heal the Saiyan and the group begins to part ways. Gohan leaves the encounter carrying new strength with him, a deeper reserve of power meant for the people he still needs to protect. But as they head back towards Earth, something lingers. Now attuned to God Ki, Gohan senses a presence cutting through the galaxy. Malicious, distorted, and unmistakably familiar. Feeling sharpens into certainty. The bioengineered time-traveling Cell Diddy Combs has returned, revived with revenge, guiding his every move. I'll leave the story off here now. On a cliffhanger, I know. But go check out his channel and check out the battle ID to play the rest of it yourself. What makes this sequence stand out is how rarely you find creators who commit to a story that unfolds across multiple battles with a clear through line. Even rarer is how close the dialogue aligns with each character. From the opening moment, the story gives itself room to breathe. You're encouraged to settle into this world, to observe what these characters are doing between the conflict, and to engage with the mode systems as tools for storytelling rather than a checkpoint to rush through. It's like the creator is intent on using every piece of the sandbox to support his narrative. Now there are places where that space could have been pushed even further. A brief check-in with characters like Krillin, Vegeta, Trunks, or Piccolo would have added texture before the story pivots towards its central threat. Still, this chapter clearly positions itself as a starting point, an opening moment designed to set the tone for a much larger sequence of story the creator has already begun building beyond that moment. And this is where Sparking Zero's custom battles really show their strength. When fans slow down, listen to the characters, and let the story unfold at its own pace, you get something like this. An opening chapter that feels considered and carefully shaped. It doesn't rush towards a conclusion or try to overwhelm you with the spectacle. It simply sets the tone, establishes its idea, and leaves you with the sense that there's more waiting just beyond this first fight. And that's where we'll leave things off for today. Thank you all for the incredible support on these videos and the time you take to share your thoughts in the comments. Watching this space grow into a place where people can exchange these ideas, interpretations, and appreciation for these stories has genuinely been something special. I'm throwing it back to you. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about these ones. What worked for you, what you might have approached differently, or which moments stood out the most. Leave a like if you guys like this. It generally does help out the channel and push these towards the people who want to see more of this type of content. If you're new here, consider subbing. This is my Yap channel about Dragon Ball. Cover almost everything comes to mind I posted here. I've been your local overanalyzer Art Tellings, and I hope you have yourself a damn good one.